What's going on, guys? I hope you're all well. I was on here to do some stream because you guys want me to talk about the heavyweight talk. So let's make this happen. Um, um, the heavyweight division right now is stand packed. It's got some of the biggest names, the best fights that possibly could be made. I think we're in a great position in the heavyweight division. I think we weren't blessed with a great heavyweight scene. The heavyweight division was fairly poor, and now we've got Joshua, Wilder, Fury, Usyk, Dillian Whyte, Chisora, guys like that, Chisora, Parker, Takam. There's a load of heavyweights now. There's a load of heavyweights, and I want to do this debate to get your guys' take on who you think's the best heavyweight. What fights do you want to see? Not just out of the three that we know we want to see, but the other big fights as well. Yeah, Michael Hunter. Michael Hunter's a good fighter for sure. Michael Hunter's, in my opinion, somebody that's come up from cruiserweight. I still want to see a lot more from him. He hasn't been in with anybody yet, so we need to see a lot more of Michael Hunter. Until he gets in there with a lot more, credible opposition, we can't really say about Michael Hunter. But yeah, I think the heavyweight division right now is thriving with talent, and that's what we like because the heavyweight division, as you know, is the cream of the crop. Oh, that's a beautiful fight. Povetkin v Ortiz. That's a fight. These are fights that, that's what I mean. The heavyweight division, I forgot to even mention Pulev's name. Pulev's another fighter. See, the heavyweight division right now is stacked with talent. Guys that I'm not saying it's the most skilled guys out there. They're not. They're not the most skilled guys out there. But what they are, they're all about, there's a little bit of skill difference in all of them. There's not much there. Paulie Malignaggi said that there wasn't anybody to compete with him because he was so good. And I do believe Klitschko would have been a dominant heavyweight in this era as well. But right now we have an era in the heavyweight division where there isn't anybody, in my opinion, that's so much better. Fury, yeah, I think Fury's most skilled for sure. I think Fury's definitely head and shoulders probably the best boxer. I think now Usyk's come up to heavyweight. I think Usyk may have something to say about that. Fury beat Klitschko and Wilder both away from home. Yeah, that was definitely impressive wins from Tyson Fury. I thought he beat Wilder, although he didn't get the decision. I thought he definitely should have got the nod on that fight. Wilder was very lucky to keep his title. Very, very lucky to keep his title. I think, listen, we need to see these big guys obviously fight. But in the meantime, even if we don't get those fights, we could definitely see some good fights. Now, Usyk with any of those guys are a great fight. And I think it won't be hard making the Usyk fight as well. So I want to see all these guys fight each other. I feel like I feel like personally, I think the heavyweight division needs these guys to fight each other. Dubois v Gorman, yeah, that's a great fight. Dubois v Gorman's another exceptional fight. It's a hot prospects. So again, I've just named guys who I believe are world level, and these guys are going to be the future world level fighters, Dubois and Gorman. I think that's a fight in the UK that could potentially be quite times. But the thing is with this current era, who wins between Beterbiev v Kovalev? Guys, I want to keep, but I think Beterbiev wins. I think he's fresher, younger, but I want to keep this about the heavyweights, guys. Let's keep this about heavyweight debate. Because you guys said you wanted me to do a heavyweight debate, and let's keep this on the heavyweights landscapes. Let's see let's talk about the heavyweights. And I think the heavyweight scene right now is something that I've been wanting. I've been craving for, because if I'm honest with you, the heavyweight era wasn't the best, and now we've got the heavyweights are boring. Not really. What do you think? Ortiz Wilder was a boring fight? Do you think Joshua Klitschko was a boring fight? Do you think Fury Wilder was a boring fight? So when you say heavyweight division, so I don't quite agree with you when you say it's the heavyweight division is boring. I think the heavyweight division is live and well. I think the heavyweight division there's some good heavyweights, 10-0 or under. Joyce, Yoka, yeah. Now Yoka's good. Joyce. is definitely somebody that the UK fans know about. He's definitely up and coming. Whyte Parker was a good fight. Whyte Parker was a brilliant fight. Whyte Parker was an exceptional fight. I actually think Parker, after that performance, has been a bit sidelined. Parker almost beat Dillian Whyte in that fight. He was seconds away from stopping Dillian Whyte. So I think Parker got a bit of stick, because I think a lot of people were expecting Parker would beat Dillian Whyte, and he didn't manage to get the job done. So he got a lot of stick. But really, if you look at Parker's performance, he was seconds away from stopping Whyte. Whyte did a lot better than what people thought. I think people weren't quite totally sold on Whyte. But after that performance against Parker, I think people thought Whyte's the goods. So Whyte definitely showed up in that fight. I definitely think Parker didn't get the credit he deserved for that fight. I think Parker's definitely an elite level guy. He's definitely a top fighter. But he's not in the top 4 or 5, that you would say that. Listen, this is my top 5 right now. I would say top 6. Yes, I think Parker will face Chisora. I think that's a fight. If Parker has ambition to compete with the big boys, he should win. Because, like I said, Chisora, I'm not sure whether he still has enough left to compete with these guys. I will say that Chisora is definitely a tough fight for anybody. Chisora will come and fight, and especially Chisora needs a fight that will get him up, and the Parker fight will definitely get Chisora up. I think the heavyweight division has got these small fights like Parker Chisora, which are not a super fight, but it's still a great fight, and it's a fight that we'd watch. We'd definitely stay up to watch that. We'll watch that because it's a great. Fury v Schwartz, yeah, but that's just that's not a great fight. Fury v Schwartz isn't a great fight, but again, you've got to understand Fury's just signed a deal with ESPN, and all these network and this politics does pee me off. But Fury v Schwartz is definitely. Chisora was, yeah, it was a great fight. Takam was beating the crap. That's the heavyweight division. That's the thing with Chisora. Chisora's got an iron cast chin, right? And when you've got an iron chin and you're a heavyweight that's big and strong, it just takes a right hand and it's game over. So yeah, I think listen, I think it's going to be very intriguing to see what happens, what fights are made. But like I said, there's so many good fights. Like Chisora Parker is not up there as the heavyweight fight we want to see, but it's definitely a great fight. Allen v. Brown is a 50-50. Winner needs to fight Price. Allen v. Brown is definitely a 50-50 fight. It's definitely a 50-50 fight, but I don't think David Price, I think the winner would beat David Price. Fury Miller would be interesting. Fury Miller wouldn't be interesting, in my opinion. I think Fury boxes his ears off, if I'm honest. I think Fury's too big, too good, and I think stylistically that matchup is not good for... I think Fury's too good. Miller's too slow, in my opinion. Ward took Chisora's chin just like Garcia took Khan's. Takam's Ward took Chisora. I don't think so. I just think Dillian Whyte landed a left hook that would knock out probably every heavyweight in the world. I think that left hook landed flush on Chisora's chin, and I think that really finished him off. I don't think he took away his chin. I think Chisora still showing that fight that he still has a great. How many punches did he take in that fight from Whyte? He took a lot of punishment. So, I don't agree with that. I just think, as a heavyweight, if you land a right punch, it doesn't matter how good your chin is, you're going to go sleep. That's what Dillian Whyte did. He landed a haymaker, left hook, which I believe is his honey punch. And I believe if he lands that on any heavyweight in the world, you're in big trouble. You're in big trouble. So, yeah, I think Dillian Whyte's not that should be taken lightly. I think Dillian Whyte's... an exceptional fighter. Miller would pressure him. Fury not enough power. Yes, but the problem is Fury moves too well. And Miller's not a big puncher. Whyte KO on Brown was brutal. Yeah, that was a sickening knockout. Sickening. Let's prove you wrong. You should agree with me. How do you prove me wrong? What did you prove me wrong on? I can't remember what you proved me wrong on. What did you prove me wrong? Oh yeah, you said Whyte would beat Parker, but again, that was a close fight. That was a fight that could have gone either way, if I'm honest. I almost had it, but like I said, we want to see these interesting matches. We want to see these fights because the more great fights we see, the better it is for us fans. I want to see all these great fights. I want to see these heavyweight fights. But yeah, guys, let me know what heavyweight fights you want to see. What heavyweight fights do you guys want to see? Not just the Dubois, Gorman. There's other big fights out there that you could arguably say that they're massive fights. What about Usyk and Povetkin? What about Usyk Joshua? What about Usyk Wilder? What about Usyk Fury? Whyte should face Ortiz. That would be an exceptional fight. And I think the problem is the position that Whyte's in. Whyte's in a risky. Whyte wants to fight for a world title. Ortiz doesn't bring that. But Ortiz is very dangerous. Ortiz has been avoided all throughout his career because nobody wants to fight Ortiz because he doesn't bring a massive payday. He's not very well known and he brings a massive risk element. Now, I believe guys would fight him if he was world champion. Ortiz would have got all the fights that he wanted. But unfortunately, he lost. And again, Ortiz is in the Who Needs Me club. Nobody wants to fight him because he's dangerous and he brings a lot of risk, you see. So that's the problem with someone like Luis Ortiz. He brings too much risk to the table, not enough reward. You know, the risk outweighs the reward, and that's why they want to fight him. I used to watch Miller in K1. The guy gasses out, someone is punching him back. Watch Miller v. Crop. Listen, I think that Joshua Miller fight, I don't really rate Miller that highly, if I'm honest. You know, some Americans rate him, say he's this, he's that, but I think Joshua's gonna destroy him, if I'm honest. I don't look at Miller and think Miller's some formidable fighter. I just don't. I think he looks quite average. He looks quite sluggish to me, and I just think against a living breaks out of him, if I'm honest. So I don't know. Let's see what happens. But I just think that Miller's gonna be like a punching bag, if I'm honest. That's just the way I think. Not to be disrespectful to Miller, I just don't think he has he doesn't have the punching power to keep Joshua off, and I think Joshua's gonna knock him out, if I'm honest. That's how I see that one going. I don't think that Joshua Miller is going to be a competitive fight at all, if I'm honest. It's just not a fight which interests me that much because I just think Joshua's rocking up with the Balifs. What's that? Joshua's rocking up with the Balifs. Joshua's improving. Every fight was improving. He's getting better and better. Joshua's impressed, especially his last performance against Povetkin was definitely impressive. He showed a lot of improvement in that fight. He showed that he's able to weather the storm and then come back. The Klitschko fight, he weathered the storm, but that was a bit too much where he looked like he was completely out. The Povetkin fight had a little bit of a mini crisis from a position which many people thought he couldn't win the fight, which obviously showed he's got a lot of heart. And that's important for any fighter to have a lot of heart. And Joshua definitely showed that he's got, heart in abundance in that fight. So you got to give massive credit to Joshua in that fight against Klitschko, because like I said, that was some fight. The Klitschko fight was some fight. You have to give Joshua massive credit in that fight. He showed a heart of a lion. That was one of the best fights I've seen. Joshua Klitschko, the way he went down, the way he got back up. You have to give Joshua a lot of credit in that fight. One of the best, probably arguably one of the best heavyweights in the world, if not the best. There's other fights that I think Ortiz Wilder definitely showed me a lot about Wilder. What Ortiz Wilder showed me? What about Joshua Fury? Who wins? Ooh. If I'm honest with you, my house on it, and you were to ask me, I would say probably Tyson Fury. I just think Tyson Fury is very tricky, very awkward, and I just think that Joshua may struggle landing clean on someone like Tyson Fury. I think Tyson Fury is just so tricky and so awkward and so horrible to fight that it's not easy to fight someone like that. He's really good. He negates you, and he makes it very difficult. However, what Joshua adapts in every fight, he isn't given credit for that. I've already said that I think Joshua did very well. If you heard what I said against Povetkin, I think Joshua's improving every fight. He's definitely improving, but Tyson Fury is a completely different ballgame. Tyson Fury hard fight because Tyson Fury is very good, very good. But I do by knockout. I don't Tyson Fury is every heavyweight out there. It would be good to see Usyk, two technically very skilled fighters. However, I do think Fury's size would come into play in that fight. I think Fury's size may be too much for someone like Alexander Usyk. But again, you never know, right? You never know. I just think, like I said, the size of Fury is a massive advantage to him. When you're 6'9", right? You're 6'9", that's a massive advantage that you have. That's a huge advantage. You know, there's not many guys in the heavyweight division that are 6 foot, 9 foot 10. So Fury has a massive advantage, and it's very difficult to get to him because of his height, his reach. You know, and guys like Vladimir struggled. Guys like Wilder was struggling. You know, Wilder was reckless. That's why he was able to land punches. He starts becoming active, starts fighting regular. You know, Tyson Fury is going to become a very difficult guy to beat. You know, the best time for Wilder was to beat him was when he fought him, because Fury fought two easy fights. And that was probably the best time to get Tyson Fury. I do feel that Tyson Fury later on is going to become a very difficult proposition for me in the out there. I think there's a lot of middleweights better than him. So yeah, I think there's better middleweights out there. But again, guys, keep it on the heavyweight division, because the heavyweight division is what I want to talk about. That's what I wanted to do this live stream about, the heavyweights. What other head fights do you guys interested in? What would you like to see? Do you want to see Usyk v Chisora? Chisora's shouted out about how he wants to fight Usyk. Do you think would you give Chisora a shot in that fight, or do you think Usyk is just too skillful? I just think Usyk's too skillful. I think Usyk would beat Dillian Whyte. I think Dillian Whyte would be a tough fight for Usyk, because Dillian Whyte's got that momentum. But I think even that you'd probably have decided Usyk. Usyk's just too skillful. For me, Usyk is just in a league of his own. His skill level is on another level. Usyk. Usyk is, in my opinion, he could potentially be the best heavyweight. Skillfully, he's exceptional. He's on another level, that guy. So this is what I mean. Who wins between David Price v Tony Bellew? Tony Bellew, I think. They would never fight. They're best of friends, so that fight would never happen. And Tony Bellew is obviously retired, but I think probably Tony Bellew, if I'm honest. I think Tony Bellew is a bit more durable. And I think David Price, as we know, he's very vulnerable. He gasses out. You know, he's not. There's a lot of flaws with Usyk heavyweight Lomachenko. Usyk heavyweight Lomachenko. Yeah, Usyk's definitely the heavyweight Lomachenko. The way he moves is skillful, very skillful, and it's crazy how they're both trained by the same person. I think they're both trained by Is it Lomachenko's dad? And you can definitely see that, you know, they're very skilled. Both of those guys are, you know, the two of the best fighters in the world. You know, pound for pound, many people have both those guys up there. So you know, I think both of those guys are special. I think Usyk in the heavyweight division is definitely going to cause a lot of these guys fits and problems, because you can't hit this guy. You know, he's very skillful. He moves side to side. And, you know, I don't know. I will say this. Usyk's power can definitely question, because Usyk doesn't have punching that some of the heavyweights like Wilder, Joshua, and all of those guys have. So that might be a problem for him. You know, and also the fact that he's a lot smaller than these heavyweights. These heavyweights, be able to, with his skill, you know, adapt to the size and the strength of those guys. But I do think the size and strength of those big heavyweights are going to be a problem for Alexander Usyk. I think it's going to be very, very tough for him, you know, because those guys, Joshua, those guys punch hard. Even Dillian Whyte, he's got a good chin, but however, those guys punch very, very dominate the heavyweight division. But I do think that he can cause any heavyweight in the world fits because of his style. I think he's that good. Bowls. It's going to be very, very interesting fights that I want to see. A lot of fights. You know, Dillian Whyte v Povetkin's a good fight. That's a great fight. I think that's another fight which Dillian Whyte's looking at. I think Dillian Whyte was looking at Manuel Charr, but Charr doesn't want that fight. So now Dillian Whyte's in a situation where so he needs guys like. Do you think Dubois Joyce will happen if? No, I'm busy at the minute. Wait. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. The stream disconnected. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, in terms of you saying Dubois and Joyce, will the fight be with the press conference be live? No, I don't. I don't think the press conference will be lively. I think it'll be quite dull. Because both, like I said, both guys don't have that kind of personality. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about Dubois and Joyce. I think it's a great fight because both guys come to fight. I don't think the press conference will be lively, but I think the fight will be lively, and that's the most important thing. Will the fight be lively? That's what we want. We don't care about whether the press conference is lively. We want the fight to be lively, right? And that's the most important thing. That's what we watch boxing for. We watch fights, and I think Dubois and Joyce has the ingredients of being a great fight. I think. I think, if I'm honest, I don't know who I would favor in that fight. I think probably Joyce, just because of his amateur pedigree. You'd probably have to side with Joyce in that fight. But division, all right, okay, the welterweight division, I'll do that on Monday. So I'll do one of these on I'll do that on Monday. I'll make a streaming. I'll actually do it before. I'll schedule it before, and we'll do that on Monday, in the evening or Tuesday. I'll let you guys know. Look out for it. What I'll do is I'll schedule it beforehand, and I'll let you guys know in video. Yeah, the welterweight division. Obviously next week's a big week, Khan Crawford. So obviously I'm going to be doing a lot on that. But yeah, in terms of the heavyweights, I think Dubois and Joyce is a fight that's definitely intriguing. But I don't think, for some reason, I don't know whether it's happening. I don't think it's going to happen. Will Frank Warren risk Dubois in with Joyce right now? I'm not sure. It's quite of a risky fight, isn't it? I don't know whether either guy want to risk that. But we'll see. It's definitely a fight that interests me. It's definitely something that I would want to watch. I don't know whether they'll make it happen. Do you have any comments on Khan's? Guys, keep it on the heavyweight division. Keep it on the heavyweight division. Talk about the heavyweights. No point of talking about stuff like that. I want to just talk about the heavyweights here. As you saw, the live streams about the heavyweight boxing. So keep it on the heavyweights. Any questions on the heavyweight division? Like I said, guys, I think the heavyweight division, as I was saying earlier, is in a place that it's not been in for years. You know, the heavyweight division. Imran, can you make me a mod so I can guys like Ryan? To be honest, I don't mind people coming in with their comments. I don't mind as long as, like I said, you can make comments on there. It doesn't really bother me. I just kind of like brush them off. I just won't reply to them, so I don't really mind it, if I'm honest. I just want to. A lot of you guys put on sensible comments, so I could block them myself, but I don't intend to, because what I do is eventually those people that are making those silly comments are gonna have egg on their face somewhere down the line, you know. Whether they're talking bad about Khan or whether they're talking bad about Fury, some of these guys will do something exceptional, and then they'll make themselves, they'll look bad. So that's why I don't do it. I don't particularly want block anybody, because everybody has a right of freedom of speech. I know some people cross the line, but again, those guys are going in there, putting their lives on the line. They'll win a fight, and then those guys that are talking bad about them will have egg on their face. Ryan Lamb, it's not a silly comment, it's factual. To be honest, I saw your comment and I didn't really respond. To be honest, I'm not really. Yeah, we're talking about boxing. Let's keep it boxing. Let's not talk about like someone's sexuality and stuff like that. That's not what it's about. It's about talking about the heavyweight division. It's talking about what fights you want to see, what you want to see in the heavyweight division. Firstly, you mentioned Khan's name. Khan's not a heavyweight; he's a welterweight. So we're talking about the heavyweight division. So let's keep it on the heavyweights. There's a lot of great heavyweight fighters out there that need to be talked about, and that's why I've done this live stream, because one of you mentioned yesterday that you need to make more about the heavyweight division. So I've done a live stream about the heavyweight division. So this way I'm going to do a live stream about the heavyweight division every now and then. So then we can discuss what's going on in the heavyweight division. It gives you guys an opportunity to give your points across, and then I can answer your questions, and then I can give my points across. We can have a kind of a debate, So that's the whole point of doing these live streams. That's the purpose behind it, because I want to, the heavyweight division is packed, but the welterweight division, in my opinion, is a lot better. But like I said, with the heavyweights, they're all up. Listen, we've got three champions, and I believe all three champions, Wilder, Fury, Joshua, all around the same. Philip Heberich v. George Joyce is a good fight. Philip Heberich v. George Joyce. I think for me, George Joyce is a very good fighter. George Joyce is a very, very good fighter. I don't know what you think, but I think he wins that fight, if I'm honest. I think George Joyce is, listen, he's a bit robotic and he doesn't look great, but I actually think he's probably, you see, when you look at George Joyce, right, he doesn't look as good as on TV as what it would be inside the ring. So he looks quite crap when you look at him on TV. But when you're in there with him, it's a different ball game. I think George Joyce is one of those fighters where he doesn't look exceptional, but if you were to be in the ring with him, then he'd be giving you a lot of problems. I think that's what, for me, George Joyce would be between Brown v. Stavern. To be honest, I think they're both shot fighters, right? They're both fighters well past their best. They're both fighters overweight and fat, and I think probably Brown, because he can punch. To be honest, that wouldn't be a fight. That's not a fight right up on my top of my list, because it's between two shot fighters, two fighters that are past it, that are old, that are slow. So that wouldn't be that exciting, if I'm honest. Two completely shot fighters, if I'm honest with you. I'd rather see Allen v Brown, and then the winner of that, if Brown wins, you know what? I actually think that's a good fight. I think people are counting Brown off in that fight, but I actually think Brown. Let's not forget, Brown was a world champion. So, you can't count Brown out in that fight. Brown's definitely a live opponent in that fight. Many people may even have him favorite, because of what he's achieved in his career. And Dave Allen, again, although he looks like he's coming on, but I still think Dave Allen's not the greatest boxer out there. He doesn't throw enough punches. He's got a great chin, but Brown's got a good, decent chin as well. We have to see how it's recovered from that Dillian Whyte knockout. If Brown beats Allen, what should be his next move? If Brown beats Allen, in my opinion, his next move should be David Price. Brown's in a position where Brown can't compete with the top guys, right? Brown needs to fight guys like David Price, Dave Allen, Derek Chisora probably in that mix. But Brown can't be competing with big boys anymore. We saw what happened with Whyte. He got bashed up. So Brown's not in a position where Brown can be fighting the top level heavyweights. Brown, in my opinion, would get demolished if he fights those top guys. So Brown's got to stick at a certain level. If Brown starts at a high level, then Brown, in my opinion, gets beat up. So Brown's got to be careful. He's got to select his opponents carefully, if I'm honest, because if he doesn't, he could find himself in big trouble. You've got to be careful when you're in the stage of the stage that Brown's in. He's got to be very. Who wins between Brown v Joshua? Is that meant to be a question? Is that meant to be a serious question? I believe Joshua, like that. If that fight shouldn't even be sanctioned. It's that bad a fight. If that fight was to be made, right? Yeah, Brown will be getting a huge payday, but it would you're putting a lamb for slaughter. Because that's what Joshua would do to him. Joshua would rip him in half. That's not a fight I want to see for Brown's health. Oh yeah, guys, I just want to say that I will be streaming live Lomachenko Krolla. So make sure you tune in to watch that, because I will be streaming live. I'll be streaming the fight live between Lomachenko and Krolla. I don't know what time it's about 5. Fantasy fight Brown v Parker. Parker wins. Come on, man. That's not a fantasy fight. Yeah, it's a fantasy fight for New Zealand, Australia, etc. But it's not a fantasy fight. It's a fight that it's a fight that Parker will win comfortably, in my opinion. Parker's got a good chin as well, so I think Loma fight is 4 or 5 in the morning. So I'm gonna get up for that. So make sure you get up and watch my live stream, because I'm gonna be streaming it live. So I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are. I don't know whether you guys are going to be up watching Lomachenko Crawler, but if you are, then you know where to come. While watching it, you can watch me streaming the fight live. So yeah, it's going to be intriguing to see what happens in that fight. But yeah, continuing the talk of the heavyweights, is there any other fights that you wanna see? I don't have BT Sport, but I buy the big fights. I buy the pay-per-view fight. That's not on BT Sport. It's on Sky Sports. Wilder stops Joshua easy. Joshua knows this and being ducking. Stops Joshua easy. I think that's a great fight. I don't know whether Wilder stops Joshua easy. I do think Wilder has the capability of stopping Joshua for sure. You know, Wilder's a genius. You know? I don't in that fight. That was miraculous. That was almost miraculous what Fury did in that fight. You know, that was whew, that kind of shook me up a little bit. That the way Fury got up from that was scary. You know, Fury showed that he's got a heart of a lion. To get up from that right hand, that's incredible. But it's gonna be. I think Parker beat Joshua. You think Parker beat Joshua? Nah, Parker completely got outboxed in that fight. That was a boring fight. You know, the referee didn't help in that fight. I think the referee made that fight terrible. Every time, you know, Parker got close, you know, and tried to do his thing, you know, the referee kept separating him, but Joshua used his height and reach advantage. Joshua looked massive compared to Parker in that fight. Joshua looked like a man mountain compared to standing to Parker, and that Parker just couldn't adapt and adjust. He just didn't know what to do. The size and the reach and the strength was just too much, and Parker wasn't able to do anything in that fight. You know, Joshua completely took away all Parker's weapons, you know, and Parker was quite fast, to be fair. He won the fight quite comfortably, if I'm honest. Like I said, the heavyweight division right now is in a great place. Who would win between Valuev v Marcus Wack? Valuev, Marcus Wack. Marcus Wack isn't the greatest fighter in the world. I would probably say Valuev. Valuev was a giant. You know, the east from the beast from the east. You know, he was a massive guy. Valuev. I remember that fight with David Haye. You know, did David Haye win that fight? You know, it was so boring. The guy was so boring. Valuev. He was so slow, a giant. You couldn't do anything with him. Oh man, and Holyfield beat him. Holyfield beat Valuev. He didn't get the decision. That was a terrible decision. You know, many people thought Holyfield done a job on Valuev, you know, and he didn't get the decision. So, yeah, I think he was definitely lucky, Valuev, throughout his career. I think Valuev was terrible. Like, he was a slow, flat-footed. Like, he was just terrible to watch. Wilder would have done a job on that guy. Valuev was too slow and he's too lethargic. And the thing is with Wilder, he's also quite big. Yeah, Valuev would have been much bigger, but Wilder's also big. So these current heavyweights are also very big. So I believe that although Valuev was big, he was big for when he was fighting. I just believe the heavyweights now are a lot bigger. So I do think that I think Wilder would have probably knocked down a polar bear. He's that strong, you know. Wilder's a big puncher, man. Wilder can hurt anything. Wilder hits you, it's lights out. Wilder punches very hard, and he's got that, you know, some say skinny power where he hits you. You know, Shannon Briggs said Wilder's got the kind of power where it's not small, but a skinny heavyweight, quite a light heavyweight. What if Valuev hit Wilder? I don't think did Valuev even punch that hard. I don't think he did. I just think Valuev was just he was terrible. He was terrible. I wasn't a big fan of Valuev. I thought he was terrible. You know, slow, podgy. Not he wasn't great at anything. He was just big. That was what he was good at. He was just just big. Valuev was just massive. You know, otherwise F.A. Ajagba is definitely someone to look out for. Yeah, guys, F.A. Ajagba is definitely someone to look out for. He's a great fighter. He destroyed Amir. People are quite high on F.A. Ajagba. You know, it's going to be very interesting to see. There's a lot of young, hot prospects. There's Joyce. there's F.A. Ajagba, there's Dan Dubois, there's Nathan Gorman, there's Tony Yoka. There's, like I said, these are the next crop that are, in the heavyweight division. Then you got guys like George Joyce, but George Joyce is, in my opinion, I don't call him a prospect because he's too old. But he's definitely somebody moving at a very high pace. So it's going to be very interesting to see what's going on. Like I said, he's holding back from dominating the heavyweight. Between Pulev and Povetkin, I think Povetkin wins. I don't like Pulev. I think he's very boring. He doesn't punch hard. I think he wins. Instead of holding Usyk back, I think Usyk, it doesn't need to be held back. I think he's a very good fighter. I can't remember what you said fully, but I think Usyk for me is special. I was saying this earlier. Usyk is, if you were here earlier, I was saying Usyk can, although Usyk's a lot smaller than these guys, Usyk has the skill of a great fight. So yeah, guys, that's definitely a great fight. Pulev and Povetkin is a fight that I would see. But yeah, guys, make sure to tune in Krolov v Lomachenko. I hope I've answered a lot of your questions for the heavyweights. It's a good 41 minutes, 42 minutes, which I think you guys can enjoy watching back. But yeah, I think the heavyweight is thriving. You've got a lot of fighters, you've got a lot of prospects, and you've got the top three: Joshua Wilder, Fury, and then you've got all the rest that are definitely capable on their if they're given night. Card for sure. So the heavyweight is live and well. Hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. Guys, remember to tune in for Krolov Lomachenko. I will be going live. So guys, make sure to tune in. And guys, I'll see you guys in the next video.